Hi beautiful, welcome back to my channel. So one of the things that I wanted to be knowledgeable about is finances and really understand money. But the first thing I needed to do was to clear my debt and have better financial habits. So there was things that I did across the last 2 to 3 years in order for me to clear the debt and to have a better mindset towards money. So the first thing is literally your mindset. There are so many things that are attached to money that we don't realize. The negative comments or situations that have happened with money. I know for myself, I had a parent who didn't necessarily give me money all the time. I was taken care of, but didn't have like a free load of money. And then when I started working at a very young age, which was 15, I still didn't understand money. I knew you had to save, I knew you could spend your money, I knew you had a bank account, but I didn't know the details as to the things that attach themselves to financial mindset and obviously how to prepare for the future. So when it comes to mindset, you have things such as money doesn't grow on trees. I don't have money for that. No, you can't have because of this money. It's always a negative thing. And so I had to sit and think about all the associations of money that I had and write them down. As you know, I like journaling. And in my journaling, I basically was like, what do I feel about money? How does money make me feel? What are my experiences growing up with money? And I was raised by just my mum. So what kind of things was she saying? What did I see around me? What was available? And all the rest of it. And I realized that as I've grown up, I had a negative association with money. I felt like having a lot of money would bring problems, would bring trouble. People wouldn't want to be around me because maybe the things that I've seen growing up. And then also I felt like I couldn't work extremely hard because then I won't have the money because I'd have to spend it and I have to do this, a lot of responsibility. So with that, I had to look at how to change the habits that I was making. So I also made a list of how I deal with money, how I'm spending money, if I'm saving the money, what I'm using it for, and all the rest of it. I didn't have good money management. And that's fine. Once you realize your issues, we can start working on where we need to improve. So for me, the one main thing I needed to do was to change the way I deal with money and also was to pay off debt. And I basically dedicated a year or a little bit over a year to make sure that my debt was cleared because I was saying to myself, there's no way I'm going to go into the new year, or, then and continue with these habits, continue with not having money, continuing with all these things that are not conducive to my future, my children's future, and us as a family. Identify all of the debts. We're getting into a serious matter here, so there's no point in being in denial. You've been in denial for a very long time, and I need you to come out of that and let's fix this situation. So basically, look for all the letters, all the emails, every single thing that you have to identify or locate where your debt is or who it's with. It could have gone to debt collection, it could have gone to wherever. Wherever it is, find all of it. I know it's daunting, I know it's really uncomfortable. It was for me at first because I was just like, I really don't want to talk to anybody about this. I just thought to myself, I have to fix it. I got all my letters, all my emails, and I started calling every single person up. And okay, before I done this, I did pray because I was like, Lord, I need you to step in, okay? So I called every single person and basically was like, hi, it's me, yes, I owe you this much, can I sort it out, can I make a payment plan, what's the balance, blah, blah. In doing that, a lot of the debts were actually already cleared, a lot of debts were written off, there was a few that just didn't exist anymore, and so I thank the Lord that a few of them vanished for me. But the ones that were left, I made sure that I was honest. And I said, I feel like you should explain your situation to them because they are humans on the other side too. We all get into things, we all get into situations. And so I basically was like, look, I'm not working right now, or I have a low financial situation. I'm not able to pay this off as soon as I would like, but can I make a payment plan? Can I create an installment plan? Can I do this? Let's work together to make sure that I pay this off because I don't want to owe anything anymore. With phone bills and maybe like credit accounts, you can probably ask them to freeze it for a while, and maybe credit cards, I'm not sure. You can tell them that you want a 6-month freeze break or something like that. And basically they can hold the account while you just get yourself in order. And don't have the 6 months and then still sit down and do nothing. In that 6 months, try to pay off as much as you can. Continue with the payment plan that you have set. And then when the 6 months are over, the interest might start going back up, but you've done a good dent into those debts. So the next thing I've done was research the way in order to pay these bills. Now, there is someone called David Ramsey out there, if you haven't heard of him. He is very good at explaining finances and also explaining how to pay off debt. So he has two methods. There's avalanche method and there's a snowball method. The avalanche method is basically where you set your debt from the highest interest to the lowest interest and then attack it from there. And then there's the snowball method, which is when you put in order from the smallest debt to the largest debt. You set payment plans for everything, but you have a higher payment plan for the first one. And then when you pay that off, you take that amount and add it onto the second amount, so it kind of like doubles up or increases the payment, and you work over like that. The reason for the snowball method is almost like a habit of completion. So you tell your brain and your mind that you have completed, you have paid this off in 6 months' time. I can do this, I can pay off debt. And then you continue until all your debt is paid. One crucial thing when it comes to finances is to, as I said in the beginning, is to create better financial habits. So you have your debt that you set all your payment plans for. I don't need you to now get a credit card out. I don't need you to take a loan out. I don't need you to go spending money. Extra money that you don't need to. This is the time that you work with yourself, your husband, your wife, your partner, whatever it is, your friend, and you create better financial habits and you create better spending as well. I would advise, if you are able to, I know for me it was difficult because we actually was on one income at the time of paying off the debt. If you're able to, you can increase your income by getting a part-time job or getting a full-time job or having little side bit hustles that you can increase your income. Try and find a way to increase your income to be able to pay off the rest of the debt. If you have a low payment installment, it might take a few years to pay off. So you want to really attack this debt. I know it looks like a lot, but if you take 1 year to just sort out everything that you need to sort out, take that 1 year, maybe you need to go into hiding and just tackle the problems that you have. And then after that year and you've like paid off your debt or you sorted out whatever you're sorting out, you will come out better on the other side because you know that you've had your head down, you've sacrificed a few things, you've made sure that certain things are working for the better good, and now you're in a better place. But sometimes we tend to try to do everything at the same time. It's not working. We're still trying to like go out with our friends and stuff like that and buy this and buy that, yet we're trying to attack the debt, but that money could have been used for something else. Now that I've got my debt paid, and even while I was paying the debt off, I created a budget and a savings plan. In order to go forward in a better way, I created a spreadsheet. Now, when I first got married, I didn't know any of these things. So when I first got married, I did it on paper. I was like, oh, let me just write down all the bills that we have and write down maybe the debt that we have and write down payments and all these things that we need to do. I just write it down. And then every month I'll just tick off what we've paid or what we need to pay more. It was working, but for me, I know the type of person I am. I want to have better, to do better. So I realized that I could put this on a spreadsheet. And so the most simplest spreadsheet, I am not a whiz, but I basically just put everything down from like month to month to month, all the bills, all the debt, and I listed everything down. And then I just set, it's so much easier for me than paper. So I set all the amounts that I wanted to pay for the next few months. And then if like our income changed, I can just toggle certain things and put more here, put more wherever. That's what I was doing. I had that. So over time it's increased, it's got better. I've learned so much. So what I do is I have my spreadsheet that I check. I don't check it too often because I don't want finances to be a problem in my mind. So I will check it like every 2 weeks just to make sure like I know my balances, I know what's expected, I know if I've received a letter and like maybe they've increased our bill, I can adjust it and so on and so forth. So the first thing I do when it comes to finances, I always tithe. I'm a Christian, so I make sure that I tithe 10% of our money to back to God. So what that means is basically everything we have, it comes from the Lord and we give it back to honor him with our finances. Budget percentages, right? I think that's the name. I just call it that. So basically you would have a percentage of your income for bills, percentage for spending, and a percentage for saving. Tweak that to your needs, okay? So allocate a percentage that would be for your bills, allocate a percentage for your savings, and allocate a percentage for your spending money. Spending money is everything that is not bills, not debt, and it's not sinking funds, okay? No matter how much income you get, you split that income, you tithe, you split the income into the percentages, and you allocate. So what I've done also is I have different accounts. I have for bills is a separate account. For savings, definitely a separate account. Sinking funds, separate account. Spending money, separate account. All separate. I did it that way so that things don't get looped in together. I don't always see how much is in something else. I can build up another account and not have to worry. Also, do not forget to have emergency funding. It says with David Ramsey to have 1,000 of your currency of emergency saving, and you can increase that as you get better with money and as you increase your income. And if you want to increase it anywhere year to year, you can do so. But make sure you have an emergency fund. An emergency fund covers emergencies. Your car's broken down. Emergency if you didn't have insurance. You need a new fridge. Something happened. XYZ's happened. Emergency. You have to please be strict with yourself. An emergency is not, oh, I'm hungry, I want to get this coffee and this bagel. Or emergency is not, well, I really need this coat right now in this color. That's not an emergency. Emergency is not, oh my gosh, I have no money to go to this event. That is not an emergency. An emergency is a situation where you are going to cry because you have no money to cover it. That is an emergency. So have that in a separate account also, because you don't want to model that up. That is an emergency, okay? I don't really going to talk about credit cards because that's to your own discretion. I would say make sure that you know how to spend money and manage your money, and don't use your credit card to the max. Don't use your credit card to the max, okay? Under 30% is fine. Build it up, build up your credit rating, all that good stuff. I have a system which is called sinking funds, and sinking funds is basically mini pockets of accounts that you put money in for different things. So maybe you have your car, and then you have a holiday coming up, you have the kids' clothes, you have your beauty treatments, you have getting your hair done, whatever it is, you create it. Some people do it with envelopes. I do it in the spreadsheet, and then I also do it on the account. There are accounts such as Monzo, Revolt, Starling, and I'm not sure the other one. They have within the account that you can create pots, which are not savings account. They're just little pots, side pots that you can place money into. I find that so convenient because I use it for the sinking funds. So basically I created about however many I need. I probably have like 10, 11 sinking funds, and they're all named and all labeled with a picture that relates to that, just to make it more, relatable so it works. I have like the kids' clothes, holidays, school trips, summer trips, what else do I have in there? Solo dates, for instance. For the main family accounts, I have loads of sinking funds, but for my own personal money as well, I have my own sinking funds. I don't connect to the family ones. So kind of figure out what you want to say, how much you want to save for a particular thing. So if you know you're going to go on holiday every single year, how much does your family need, or how much do you need to go on holiday every year? Say you need like £800, right? You have £800, divide that by 12 months, because in the year, and that amount is the amount you would save every single month away for your holiday. That is now your sinking fund. But I do tweak it. So within my budget, I would make sure like everything is kind of covered. So say it worked out that I had to pay £43 towards a holiday or something. But I know that in that month, that money set for like sinking fund money is a little bit low. I would basically tweak it. So I'll be like maybe 40, 38, bring it down. Make it work for you. Create sinking funds with the amount that you can save every single month ongoing. How it works is you have money in the account every single month, and then every single time you need your money, go into that specific sinking fund pot. I say it like that because we do not borrow from any of the sinking pots. One sinking pot, one matter, that's it. If there's no money in there, then you can't do whatever you wanted to do. Okay? You have to be strict with yourself. You have to have a standard and self-control, because when you don't, you go right back to all your money issues, and there's no moving forward. We're just going to keep looping ourselves in the same matters, and that's not what we want, basically. I know that's not what I wanted for myself. I definitely needed to change. It's been a few years now. But yeah, so basically the sinking funds, and every time I need something, I go into that particular sinking fund. I push it back into the main account, use that money. The change, I put the change back into that pot. Okay, every penny counts. And with paying a debt off as well, a little tip about paying a debt. Say you have £20 cash or in your account and you spend 19.98. That 2p, put it in your debt. Okay, I know it sounds ridiculous, but every penny counts. A lot of the time I did penny saving, which was if I had a little change left here and there, I would throw it into the debt. Just put 3p there, 10p there, £1, £5, 3p. Just keep pushing it because I needed that thing to come down. And it worked because in the month, if you was putting little pennies and stuff in there, you probably paid about £5. That's £5 less of a debt. And by the time you reach your month, you're back to your monthly installment. You can still keep to your payments, and it just comes down a lot quicker. So that's a tip for you. Every penny counts, okay? And so lastly, I want to say with your finances and stuff is continue learning, okay? Don't just be like, oh, I know enough. We don't know enough of anything in life. Always research, find out, see what works for you, change things. If a spreadsheet doesn't work and you prefer to use paper, do that. If the sinking funds in a pot account doesn't work and you prefer to do envelopes, do that. If you prefer to have someone accountable for your money, do that. Do what works for you, but always keep learning about finances and how you can be better at everything, because we don't want to be on a standstill. We want to level up in everything that we're doing, okay? Make sure you keep a record of your finances every single month. If you are nervous about finances, check it every single week. I would advise to always check your accounts as well. Have a look in there every now and again. Make sure that maybe what you spent, you wasn't charged double, or maybe your direct debit is not coming out, it's been cancelled on the other end, maybe your savings isn't going through, or whatever it is. Check your accounts, have a look in it, be familiar with it, speak to your bank if necessary, call your credit card company if necessary. Don't just sit and just ignore, don't sit and wait, because no one's going to come help you, okay? You have to help yourself. So I just want to encourage you, make sure that you know that this year, if it's this year or next year, that you're working on being better with your finances, because life is going, we're getting older, and also you want to be able to teach your family members and your children to come, your children now, better financial spending, better financial habits as well, and for yourself. Please spend wisely, be wise, do better. Thanks for watching. I hope that's covered most things. I just really explained what are the things that I've done. So make the changes that are better for your life. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.